Now, starting with your topic, the introduction to reports. So, here I'll be discussing firstly what is a report. When you are developing any application, when you are developing any object, when you're creating a new object, then you want that you can examine that report, the object, the working of the workflow of the particular object. So this report always give you access to all the Salesforce data that is available, and now you can check those data in various combinations, and you can display it in the most understandable formats that is according to the requirements, and then you share the results with the combinations that you have established with the other objects. So before building, reading, and sharing the reports, we have certain reporting basics. When you are preparing any report on your Salesforce data, you need to keep certain things on account. So reports should be created in a proper manner. If they are well designed reports, if they are well formed, then they will run faster, and it will give you a proper result. Now, before building your report, you are always writing down the number of questions or the questions related to the report that needs to be fulfilling the requirements of the user. So, when you have so many of questions that is answering the needs of the user or the customer, then the report will return all the data that is needed. Reports are always stored in a shared folder. So you need to get the permission to access the folder. Whosoever has the permission to access the folder, then that person can also access the reports that are saved in that particular folder. The proper labeling of the folder should be there. The folder should specify which type of reports are saved. Now we have different features and concepts of the report. First one is your report builder. Report builder is just when you open the salesforce.com, you have a report builder. You can use the drag and drop options. This is a GUI based tool. So you can easily use the drag and drop to create reports, or you can make the changes or manage the already existing reports. So when talking about the report builder, you are accessing a report, so there are certain attributes related to the particular report. That is the report type, the report formats, the fields, all these things that are contributing to your report. Now, how can you launch or how can you organize a report? So there is an analytics tab or the report in some softwares that are focusing on the Salesforce technology. They are having the analytics tab. Now, in our salesforce.com, we have a reports tab. So when you want to create a new report, so you just click on the reports tab, and then in the reports tab, you will click on the create tab or the new report. So this will help you to create a very fresh report on the already collected data. If you want to edit a report, you will firstly find the existing report by their name, by their attributes, and then you will make the necessary changes from the actions menu or the properties that are provided with the report. Now we have different fields. So fields, as we have already studied RDBMS. So in relational database management system, the field describe the oval or structure of a table. So this field is helping us to generate the report result. So when a field is there, so your report is containing the information in a very organized manner. So in each row it is giving a result and each column is giving a field. So if you have to create any information related to the employees or a human resources, you are just getting the result in the form of reports. So each result that is generated, it is giving the information related to the employee, and the other field is containing the information, the field that you are showing in the column, that will tell you the different piece of information about the employee. The information, there can be many information pertaining to the particular employee: his first name, his last name, his date of joining, his address, his mobile number, anything can be stored in the field. So when you are creating or editing a report, you are choosing the fields which you want to include, and you are unselecting the fields that you do not want to include in your report. When you are selecting certain fields, so your reports will run more quickly because you are including only some of the fields, not all the fields. Now we have filters. In filters we are limiting the data. What happens when you open the any shopping portal? So you are applying, you are likewise you are searching a shirt, a casual shirt on any shopping portal. So you are just uh, in the search pane you have just written casual shirt. So it will give the results of the n number of shirts, casual shirts, that are available on the shopping portal. But when you provide the filters, you are specifying your requirements, that I want the casual shirt with this type of collar, with half sleeves, with full sleeves, or the brand name or the color. So you are limiting the size of the values you want. So this will give you the insight information of all the values that is helpful for you, that is useful for you. So the filters are focusing on the specific data that your report wants. Now in this case, when you are applying filters, your report will be generated more quickly. Now we also add the filters in the report builder. I will tell you in the next slides that what is a lighting experience. This is also a part of Salesforce technology. So lightning experience basically deals with the platform as a service. So in lightning experiences, if you are adding a filter in the report builder, you can easily add, you can edit, you can remove the filters, whatever you want to do with the filters while you are just going through the report or traversing the report information. We have different types of reports. So because the report is formed with the help of fields, so we can have the content reports, we can have the file reports. So every report will have certain fields. Like in, if I am talking about a file report, file ID, file name, the the file creation date, the total downloads for that file. So all these information are pertaining to the report types. Now account reports also have fields like account ID. So these are the example which is telling that you can have the report types. Now report format. You always, what you do while selecting the report type, firstly you are creating a report. Then the second step is your selection of the report type. Then after that you move to the report format, because there are n number of formats available for formation of any report. So I am categorizing those report formats in the tabular format, in the summary format, in the matrix format, or in the join format. So in the tabular format, we are just representing the reports in the fields in the form of attributes and tuples, that is columns and rows. So there is No grouping of data is there when you are talking about the tabular format. Then you have the summary of the report or the summarized report. When I'm talking about the summarized report, then we are getting only certain values that are stored, the certain information that are stored in the fields. So we are grouping by the means of rows. Then you have your matrix format. So when you are talking about the matrix format, so it will give you the result with the help of rows and columns. Then last one is your joint report format. So with the help of this joint report format, you are forming the block. You are forming the block of the view of your data. You can see your data in a different view because every user perceives the data in their own way. So with the help of joint report format, you can develop a report block that is providing you the different view of the data. Now when I'm talking about the Salesforce Classic, because we have the Lightning report also. So when I'm talking about the Salesforce Classic report builder, you are grouping the data. So you are choosing a report format before you are grouping the data. The group is formed after the report format is being chosen. But in the form of Lightning report builder, the report format is an update as you it automatically updates the group data. See, you are just choosing the report format. You do not need to group the data. It will automatically, the Lightning report builder will automatically do on your behalf. It will group the data, the report data on the similar attributes. Now, how you are building a report? So these are the steps for forming a report, for accessing a report. So firstly, I am building a report. So when you are building a report, you need to collect the questions or the feasibility study or the surveys done from the customers. So the survey tells you can have many questions like here I have discussed that how much revenue can be generated in a particular area in the last quarter, or how many opportunities are provided, are the opportunities closed, are the opportunities open, it is targeting which age groups. So all these questions are formed before building a report. Then second point says you have to customize report views in the run page. So when you are customizing your report views, you have to use the Lightning experience, because with the help of Lightning experiences, you can review the report. You can also analyze which report records needs to be run earlier and which reports records should be run afterwards. Then you have your third point, that is updating multiple fields in line on the report run page in Lightning experience. So while using the Lightning experience, you can easily keep your records up to date and you can edit the field. You can either store the report in the tabular format, summary format, or matrix reports. You cannot update multiple fields while accessing the joint reports. So these three reports, the tabular, matrix, and the summary reports, are used to update the fields. Now we have the fourth step, that is your filter report data. So what happens, you have a limited storage space and you want certain amount of information, you do not want any irrelevant information, so you apply filters to get the report of only those data that you want to access. Next is your schedule and subscribe to reports. After this thing has been done, now you are subscribing to receive the notification if there is any new update regarding to the report, or there are new metrics you need to add, or you have to change anything in the reports that are already existing. Then you need to schedule and subscribe to these reports. So every time any changes are being done, every time you need to add a new matrix, so you will get a notification. Then next is your export and connect report to other tools. So when you are exporting, when your reports is already created or the existing report is already subscribed, then what you are doing, you want to give because the reports are giving the results, so you are connecting the report to another tool such as the Quip tool, that is helping us to use that report data outside the Salesforce platform, because we want certain reports of the organization that can be accessible outside the organization, outside of the Salesforce technology. Or so after this we are doing drill down into your reports to learn even more. So why do we do drill down? Drill downs means we are getting the brief information. We are going into the insight of the particular data or the information. When you want to track anything, when you want to track the progress, then you are using the drill down. So you can have the closer look or the deep look of the records, what all things you are storing in the record in a report. Then you are organizing your reports. You can organize the reports by sorting them on the means of their names, on the means of their date of creation, on the means of their size. And you can keeping them or storing them in the folders. And if you do not want any of the report in further execution, then we delete that reports. So you have so many number of reports that you can easily get with the search field, so that it will suit your requirements. Then you have your analyze report with Einstein discovery for reports. So Einstein discovery for reports is used when you are applying your artificial intelligence, when you are performing any statistical analysis. So this Einstein discovery for reports is helping you to go deep into the data of the report. You when you are going deep into the data, you are checking the underlying patterns, the patterns of formation of the customer relationship, the patterns of existence of the same type of information. Then you can also represent these things, these patterns, these relationship with the help of charts, or you can easily explain them with the help of the tabular explanation. So the Einstein discovery for these type of reports always work with tabular and summarized reports. Then you have your troubleshoot reports. In the troubleshoot reports, you are helping them to solve certain problems. There are help options. If you are stuck somewhere, if you are having your data that is not correct in the report, you can easily go to the troubleshoot reports. Then you have your improve report performance. So when if you have seen that you have not applied, likewise you have not applied any filter on the report generation, so you have a very vast amount of information, a very vast amount of data that is there in your report. So what happens, your report is running slowly because it has to process a lot of data that is available in that. So for that we are applying the filters. So these filters will help you to improve the report performance, and your report can be quickly accessed and it can run faster. Now how you sorry, how you are building a report? When you are building a report, you need to establish the answers for the questions of the or the queries of the particular consumers. Then you have to then you have the different ways of building a report. Firstly, you are building a report in a Lightning experience. Then you are building a report in the Salesforce Classic. Then you are, after the report is being built, you are showing the report result in a graphical way. So when you are talking about building a report in Lightning experience, so this Lightning experience is the very powerful way of representing your report, because here at the time of creation you do not have to group the data. The data is grouped manually. So you can get easier solutions to your problems. Even the object generation, the connections, the formation of the different reports, the formation of the results, all can be done with this type of Lightning experience. So group filter, summarize records, all these things are there in the Lightning experience. So overall you are getting a overview of the data. You are getting the chart for a report. When you want to preview any data that is already existing, you run the report and then you get the whole results in the Lightning experience. Next is your build report in the Salesforce Classic, the application which we are using as the Salesforce Classic application. So here the report builder is very easier to access because it is just a drag and drop tool which is allowing you to access all the information, all the data very easily and very quickly. Now you have to set up new reports and then you can also edit your existing reports. Then after you are building the report, whether you have built the report in the Lightning experience, whether you have built the report in the Salesforce Classic, you want to show that or you want to represent that report somehow. So why we are representing the data, why we are representing a report, so that the person who is accessing that report can easily understand the data that is stored in that particular report. So you can also use the graphical representation like the chart, the histograms, the line chart, the pie chart to represent the report. So these type of reports or these type of charts will help you to tell the insight value of the data. You can use different charts like to track the changes over time. You can check the historical data, you can check the previous data, you can check the current data, and you can compare those data at a particular time. So you can add or you can subtract charts to any report that are grouped in a summarized format or grouped in a matrix format. So these charts will also be represented in the dashboard components. Now we have show report data in tables. So when you want to access any of the report, any of the data that is stored in the report, because the report is stored in a particular folder. So if a person has access to the folder, he can directly check the report data. So for helping those readers to access the data, the number of results that will be shown in a particular table, and then you are highlighting only those data that you want to show to the readers, not all the data that is not required by the user. So the number of results are limited here. The size of the results is reduced because we are showing only certain amount of data or the summarized value into the tables. Then you have your categorized data with bucket columns. You can easily organize any of the report data without any of the formula, without creating any custom field. You are just keeping them in a bucket. Bucket means you are creating a column that can have multiple values or the categories or the attributes that will help to group the report values. Here also you can easily sort, filter and group with the help of bucket columns. Next is your Evaluate report data with formulas. Report feature always helps you in building very complex data. So you can use for accessing those complex data, for accessing the numeric values, you are using the built-in maths functions. You can have the sum function, you can have the average function, the minimum, the maximum, the average, the uh, the mean value, any formula you want to access, you can access with this report formulas. So you are applying those formulas on the numerical column. These formulas will always be applied on the numerical column so that you get the proper result. So you can also apply the advanced or logical mathematical operations. You have to write a formula, whatever formula you need to apply on the columns. Then you can count the values in your report results. So there can be multiple similar values, duplicate values in our results. So you have to count only distinct values in the column with a unique count. Then you combine different types of information in a joint report. The joint report format always let you view different types of information in a single report. A joint report can contain data from multiple sources, multiple standards, or the custom reports, the report that you have generated. You can also access the existing report and organize them in a joint report format using the report builder. So you can combine also different types of reports because the joint report is working on all the different features of the report, that is the column also, the fields also, the records also, so everything it is working on. Then you have report on historical changes. So you, for the recording the historical changes, you need to have the current value also and the previous value also, so that you can analyze the changes that happened over time, the changes in the opportunities, the changes in the cases, the changes in the objects that we have created, the predictive analysis. So all these things helps in the historical change. Next is your report type reference. Report types reference always allow you to determine which records and which fields appear in your report. For example, if you have an opportunities report, so it will give the record of all the opportunities and all the fields that are associated with the opportunity. Likewise, who is the owner of the opportunity, at what stage you are accessing the opportunity, what amount it has stored in the opportunity. Next is your turn automatic updates to the report preview on or off. So you have the accessibility to reports, so you also want that you can have the accessibility to edit certain reports. So when you want to edit the reports, you want to do it on a very faster mode, so you are always providing an automatic preview update. So as soon as you get the update, you can also keep that preview update on, or you can keep that preview update off. So you can make multiple changes, multiple editing, multiple formatting. So you don't have to wait for the preview to refresh every time an edit is made. So you can manually refresh the report, or you can just keep the automatic previews for accessing the report changes. Now, when we are building a report in a Lightning experience, there is an Analytics tab. In Analytics tab, you are selecting a Create Report, or if you are not seeing the Analytics tab, tab, you will move on to the reports tab. From here, you will be clicking into the new report. First, after you have clicked on the new report, you will choose the report type. Which type of report you want to access, the tabular report or any other type of report. So you just after clicking the new report, you will click on the start report. Now create new report window will get open. Now from this you will select the category that is available on the left pane and search report types by name. You can also apply the filters of the fields of the objects that were custom created. Then you are also using the composite fields, means that fields that are not available on the filter options. You have already created certain fields, that is the address, the location, any other things that you have custom created. When you are using any keyboard input, you are focusing on the selected filter options so that you can easily add, subtract, remove all the options. We have a report type, we are searching the results, and we will get the recently used list of the reports that were created. When we are getting the recently used list, we can easily edit the reports. The details panel list that is created in any of your organization, that is always based on the report type and the object of the report that is stored in a particular field that will be made available to you in your report. Next is the report will always open in an edit mode. You can edit any n number of changes in your report. You can also preview the changes after you make one change, then you can preview, or you can preview after you have made all the changes. So you can have multiple fields, you can have edit mode, you can have remove field, you can have remove columns, report columns. You can group the report by rows and columns, or by rows or by columns. You can apply the filter report data, you can add a chart, you can customize your report. So you can apply as many number of edit features you want to apply on your report that is already created. Now if you want to add any further column in your report, you need to choose a drop down list from the field that add column. Whenever we are creating a table, we have seen that there is an option when we right click on that table, we have an option insert new row, in delete existing row. So here we are providing in the field a drop down list for adding the column. Now for removing a column from your report, we are just clicking on the column list and then we are removing the column from there. When you are removing a column, it does not mean you are removing the whole of the field that is there. You can, that column that you have deleted will be stored in a backing store and you can always retrieve that column after some time. Then you summarize a column in your report. Then in the preview value, in the preview pane, you can find the column that you want to change. You want to extract the data, or you want to get the summarized data. Then here you select the column actions icon, and that is summarize icon. So you are just clicking on the column for which you want the summarized data. Then you want to also select that what type of data, how can you summarize the column. Then you are grouping your records in reports. Then you are choosing a field where you can add your group in a drop down way. You can also group 2 rows, 2 columns, 1 row, 1 column, 3 row, 3 column. So you can have the grouping of the rows and columns also when you are creating or accessing a report. Now when you have added a group, You can also hide the detail of that particular group that you have hidden. That you want to hide certain rows group, you want to hide the subtotals, you can hide any of the summarized value that you are getting from that group, and you can check it into the preview pane after you hide those data. Now when you have performed the grouping of the records by date field, or you can use by customizing your data granularity. Granularity means that smallest detail that we get from the particular data. So firstly we are selecting the date field that you want to group, and then you are using group date by, because you are grouping with the help of date. So if you are grouping with the help of a serial number, then this would have shown that group serial number, group by serial number. So here we have group by date. So you are a calendar will be attached to it, and a particular time period will be allocated for these grouping of records. Now if you want to ungroup again, then you just need to click on the remove icon, ungroup, and then click on the remove icon. So all the groups that you have organized in your report, that will be ungrouped, and it will move from the group list, and you can remove the group icon. When you are removing a group, then it will remove the column from your report. You filter the records from your report. You are using the filter icon. Then you have multiple report types. From there, you have many standardized filters. So you can apply those filters by default. You can have many templates that will show which type of filter you have applied, whether you have applied a customized filter, whether you have applied a date filter. So the show me filter will always report the result of the common groups that are already there, and the date filter will show the date field, the created date or the closed date, the tenure of the particular opportunity that is created. So all these things will be coming to the date filter. Now when you want to add a field filter, you need to choose a field from the add filter drop down. To edit a filter, you need to use the standardized filters by clicking on the filter. To remove a filter, you have to click on the filter again and click on the remove icon. Then in reporting any filter information, you need to click on the see filter report data in Salesforce help feature. If you want to add a chart, you first add at least one group, and then you can get the add chart. If you want to customize the chart, you have to click on the gear icon. From here, you can change the chart type. Whether if you have chosen histogram, you can also choose line chart, you can choose pie chart, you can also select the color of those chart, you can select the representation of that chart. So many ways are there to represent or customize your chart. If you want to hide the chart that you have created, you will click on the toggle icon that is provided to you. Then if you want to remove a chart, again you have to use the gear icon, and there in gear icon you will get the option of remove chart. And then lastly you save it. If a new report is generated, then you need to save the name, the description, and all the access methods, and whether you have to share the report in the fields of the report or selected fields of that particular report. So all these things will be saved while clicking save. So when you want to view any report results, you just click on the run. We have differences between Lightning and classic report builders. So we have features of report format. When talking about the simple Salesforce classic report builder, you are just forming a report, you are choosing a report. format, and then after that you are grouping the data. But while talking about the Lightning Report Builder, the report format is automatically updating when you group the report data. So you do not need to select a report format in terms of the Lightning Report Builder. When talking about charts, Lightning Report Builder always uses the same chart as report view in Lightning Experience, but this is not the case in the report format. In the classic report builders. Now, how we can build a report in Salesforce Classic? For building a report in Salesforce Classic, we are customizing an existing report. So, with the help of Remote Builder, you have the option of customize. You can directly click on the customize and you can change or manage or edit the report with the help of this report builder. When you want to change or optimize your screen real estate, the report builder will use a compressed page header to save your space. Now you have the different application tabs. For the different application tabs, you close the builder. You click on the Salesforce logo so that you can get the different applications that you have formed. So these are the steps for opening or choosing a report. Firstly, you are choosing a report type in Classic Salesforce. So the report type will tell you which record and which fields will appear in your report. Not all fields should be visible. So if you are creating an object, so the object name, the object type, or the object format, and the likewise if I save an object of employee, so all the information is not provided for that particular employee. Only selected field, like I want to show the name of the employee ID of the employee. So only those fields are selected when you are choosing a report type. In second time, you are choosing a report format. So the format can be the tabular format, the summarized format, the matrix format, or the join format. So here you can choose the format according to the requirements as per your organization. So here the complex format can also be chosen so that you can capture the data you want to show, and when you want to just communicate the data to the other fields, so you are just using the simple operations or the simple format. Then you group your report data in Salesforce Classic. So you are grouping your data in columns or in rows, in summary. So there are certain types, the formats. You have the summarized format, you have the matrix format, you have the joint report. So all these things will show the meaningful information. So you can also check that here I have taken example if I am grouping the opportunities by close date. So how many closed opportunities or groups are there? So you see the number of cases of each project. So you can perform the grouping inside the grouping. Multiple groupings can also be formed on the basis of the cases, on the basis of the closed opportunities, on the basis of the group cases. So you can have multiple groupings inside a grouping. Then you have, while you are loading the report preview, you can also work with the reports. So you can perform your actions. You can continue working on your report while there is a preview going on a particular report. You can easily edit a report. You can add multiple fields. You can subtract multiple fields. You can group the data. You can create columns. So all these things are with the help of report preview. So you can work in the report preview loads also. Then you customize your reports in your Salesforce Classic. So as I already told you, in the Salesforce Classic, the report builder is a drag and drop visual editor. So it will help you to work with the different fields, with the filters, and also in the meanwhile, it will also show you the preview of the report that is having some of the data, or the report that is having more data. Next is your report fields in Salesforce Classic. The fields will always show the selected report type that is organized by the different folders, because we have multiple folders that are keeping the records, the reports. So this field will display the only the field from the selected report type. Not all fields will be visible. You can say that you are getting the summarized value or the summarized formula for the particular report, for the custom reports. So you can use the create, edit and delete on that report. Next is your subtotal report results in Salesforce Classic. Subtotaling will help you to sort the groupings, to compare the groupings, to compare the opportunities, to compare the cases, to compare the objects for each of the set of the values. You can also use the summarized value in the joint reports and find the subtotal by different fields from the different reports, and you can get the set of information that you want. Then smart totaling means if there are multiple duplicate data in your reports, so that multiple report data will be treated only once when you are performing the totaling of the columns or summing or averaging any of the information in the reports. Then last thing, you save your report in the classic Salesforce. You just click on the save as, or in Lightning Experience you can use the clone value to clone the report. Now you choose a report type in Salesforce Classic. When you want to choose a report type in Salesforce Classic, you are determining which type of fields, which type of records you want to appear in your report. So for example, if I take an object, if I create an object, my leads. So in my leads, I want to store the information of the accounts with which the organization is working with, or I am working with the particular organization. I am storing all the information there. What is the revenue generated? So I want only some of the information, like for which company I am working, what are the partner companies, and what is the address of these companies. I'm not providing with the revenue. So here these will help you to choose a report type. Then you have two different types of report types when you are talking about Salesforce Classic: standard report types and custom report types. So the standard report types are already available in your Salesforce. So you can get the access of all the data with the help of standard report types. So here you can have the opportunity reports that will give you the access to the opportunity records, the fields in your report. So you can have multiple fields, amounts or probability or type or the opportunities, everything you can access with this standard report type. When I'm talking about the custom report type, you are giving access to only custom objects that you have created in the Salesforce, or the custom views of standard objects. So you want only certain views of that objects. You are using the administrative properties so that to configure or to edit your reports. So the administrator can easily create report type. The administrator can also give the access to the value, the objects, the fields. With that help of the Customer report type, you can easily report on opportunities for given product. So from the report type, we are just clicking on the new report. Then in the new report, we are selecting the report type and then creating the report by clicking the create. You are now choosing a report format in Salesforce Classic. So tabular, summarized, matrix or join format, anything you can use, any format you want to use. From these report format, we are using the format menu of the report builder. So by default, if you are not selected any report type, it will take tabular format. So in tabular format, this is the most simplest and the easiest and the fastest way to access all the data that is available in your report. It is very much similar to the Excel spreadsheet. In a spreadsheet, we can have a set of fields, we can have a set of columns, we can match each record in a row. So this tabular reports are best suited if you want to perform any matching of the rows or the record. If you want to create a list of records, you want to create the total of that records, then your tabular method, tabular format is the best. Then you have the summarized reports. Summarized reports are also very much like tabular reports, but it will allow us to group the values, whether it's the values of the rows, whether it is values of the subtotal, whether you want to create a chart. So this summarized format will help you to do this thing. So here it can also access the dashboard components. This type of a report help us to show subtotals, which is based on the value of a particular field, or if you want to create a hierarchical list, then all type of opportunities for your team, subtotaling or the owner name, everything will be shown with the help of summarized report. So if you are not having any grouping, then it will be similar to the tabular reports on the report run page. Next is your matrix report. Matrix reports are very much similar to the summarized reports. But in matrix report, you are grouping the data with the help of rows and columns. But in summarize, we are grouping with the help of rows only. Here we are grouping with the help of rows and columns. So they are also used to access the dashboard components. You can compare the different totals. You can have large amount of data. You can summarize the data. You can compare the values. You can check the different field values and then compare the different fields. You can also look data by date. You can categorize the data. You can filter the data. You can check the data on the geographical format. So matrix reports are accessing both row and column and grouping them in a particular report format. Then last one is your join format. Join report always let you create multiple report blocks that will provide different views of your data, and each block will always act like a sub report because it has its own feed, it has its own columns, it has applied a sorting for organizing the data, and it has also filtered the data. So a joint report can contain data from different data reports, different data report types. So the joint reports are a complex reports. So they are available only in enterprise and in enhancing the performance and developer additions. Now we have to change the report format. When changing the report format, you are applying the form while changing the report format, it will also affect the filters, the grouping you have done, all these things will be changed. So When you change from tabular to summary or matrix, the rows that to display filter is removed because you are changing from tabular to summary or matrix. Now I am changing from summary, matrix or join to tabular. So you need to remove the groupings because groupings are not there in the tabular. You need to remove the charts. You can remove the custom summary. All are removed from the report. So grouping fields are never converted to columns in a tabular format. If you are using a joint report, then you can contain multiple blocks. You can have the columns from first block, you can have the columns from next block. So all these things are included in the tabular report. When you are changing from summary to matrix, so the first summary grouping becomes the first row grouping. The second becomes the first column. The third becomes the second row. So firstly row, then column, row, then column. So always if you are using a report wizard is available, then the third summary grouping is always removed. Then you have matrix to summary. When talking about conversion from matrix to summary, so in matrix I have the grouping with row and column also. So when I am converting from matrix to summary, so the first row grouping becomes the first summary grouping. The second row grouping becomes the third summary grouping. So it will be a custom summary grouping, that is the odd grouping, and the first column will become the second summary. So the row will be in the odd summary grouping. The column will be in the even summary grouping. And the last column is the second column grouping is removed. When I am talking about tabular summary or matrix and then I am converting it to join, here the joint is the most complex format. So the report that is already there, that will be becoming the first block in the joint report. And the report type will be become the principal report type for the joint report. Joint report can be formatted as summary reports or you can switch from summary to a joint report. Your grouping won't get changed, your grouping will be the same, but if you switch from a matrix to a joint report, the groupings are changed. They are converted in a different way. So when you switch from a matrix to a summary report, then also your grouping changes. There are certain reports, certain types that are not supported by the joint report, the bucket fields, the cross filter, the rows to display filter. All these are not supported in the joint reports. Then I have to show my report data graphically. These type of users, this type of report data graphically, when you want to show your data graphically, it will help the users to analyze the data before they are going into the details of that particular data. You are using the line charts. The line charts are always used to make the changes or track the changes or analyze the changes that is existing over time. You are using a bar or a pie chart to compare the values in that particular time which is defined by the defined by the line charts. You can also add a chart to any report and then you can form the groups, that is with the help of rows, so summarized report, or with the help of rows and column, then we are getting the matrix report. So the charts are also appearing in the dashboard components. We are using a chart to a report. Here we can add a chart to a report. We are just giving users a visual way to understand the data in your report. And then chart properties. You can add a chart to any report and then you are performing the grouping on the basis of rows or on the basis of rows and columns. The chart property will always specify that the data that you want to appear in the chart, its labels, its colors, and any conditional highlighting. So all these things will be visible in the chart properties. Then present data effectively with charts. When reporting any chart appearance, those reporting can be very much affected by the negative values or very large or small numbers or custom summary formulas and field level security. All these affects the chart appearance. Chart appearance can also change when you switch from a particular report format or change grouping and blocks. So you have to present your data effectively with the charts without affecting the chart appearance. Then you have your show multiple set of data in one chart. You can create a chart plot which is showing the multiple set of a data and combining into a single chart. Each set of data is depicting a different field. So values can be compared between the different fields. You can combine the chart types, you can present the data in the different ways, and you can check those data in a single chart. Then your combination chart examples. You are using a combination of chart to show the multiple values. When likewise you have different axis, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So you are showing the multiple values against a single axis. You can show different chart types together. You can compare the chart values. You can compare the summarized values. Then you have chart formatting options. Now I have to add a chart to a report. In Lightning Experience, we are adding or editing a chart from the report builder or report run page. When we want to show or hide a chart, we are clicking on the chart icon. To edit the chart, we are clicking on the gear icon. From the chart editor, we are changing the chart type, we are changing the chart title, we are changing the axis of the chart, whether we want to show or hide a reference line, whether we want to show the chart values. All these things are clicked with the help of chart editor. Now when talking in Salesforce Classic, we can easily add or we can edit a data chart from the report builder. We can add a chart in a report builder, and for the charts that are already available, we can have the edit chart option. We can select a chart type. We can enter the appropriate settings on the chart data type. So for the data type, for the chart type that you are selecting, you can also apply the settings on the formatting tab and then you can click OK. So we have different chart properties. The chart data settings. In chart data settings, you can control the data that you want to show in your chart. You can have multiple options for that. The chart type. In chart type, you are using which data to be represented in your report, and then the chart you want to determine so which chart properties are needs to be available to be changed. So you want to show the chart on x-axis or y-axis or on z-axis or on x-axis and y-axis. What type of values you want to display on which of the axis of your chart. So you are analyzing the chart type, and then after analyzing the chart type, you are fixing the axis values. That will help you to record the count of the values. You can get the summarized fields. You can group the defined data in the report. Then you have your combination chart. In combination chart, this option is used to add multiple values in this chart. Additional values can be added with the help of combination chart. The chart type you choose must also allow the combination of the charts. Then you go for the grouping. You can only pick from groupings that are already defined in the reports. For bar and column chart, click on the icon to select the grouping display. Side by side, you want to show the grouping, you want to show the grouping by stacked value, or you want to show the stack to 100%, or either a single group line. You can also select the cumulative cumulative values chart. Now in values you want to click on the attributes and the fields you want on your chart, on your pie chart, on your line chart, or on your histograms or any other plot values. Then wedges. Wedges tell you what to display as wedges from your white, from your pie chart or the donut chart. Then you have your segments. Segments will tell you what data to be displayed as segments for your funnel chart. Now you have to show report data in tables. When you want to show report data in tables, it is very easy to access. You can hide the details, you can hide the ranges, you can show the ranges, you can limit the number of results shown, you can highlight the color, the priority of the table, the column priority. You can also show the table in a dashboard component. So the first option is your show and hide report details. You can show or hide report details from either the run reports page or the report builders. When you hide details, you can have individual records that will not be displayed in the report. The grouping is available, the summarized formula, the recording, all things remain visible. Only the individual records you are hiding certain values in this. The grouping, the summary, the formulas, the read count, these things will not be hidden. These will be visible. Then you highlight the data ranges with conditional formatting. You highlighting certain field values that is based on the ranges, that is based on the colors you are specifying, you are highlighting. You can also apply conditional formatting to any of the report that can be grouped by rows or that can be grouped with the help of rows and columns. That is your summarized report or the matrix report. Next is your use a tabular report in a dashboard. You can easily use a tabular report as a source report for a dashboard table or chart component. You can also limit the number rows it returns. Then limit report results. It will help you to set the scope of your report. So you don't want to access too many records, then you are limiting the report results. Here the built-in choices for limiting your results will vary according to the objects you are reporting on. So object to object, the limiting of your results will be varied. Now you are categorizing your data with the bucket columns. You are quickly categorizing report records. You are without creating a formula or a custom field. You are bucketing them. When you are creating a bucket column, you define multiple categories. You define multiple buckets which are helping you to group your report values. So like any other column in your report, you can sort, filter, group by bucket columns. So you can add a bucket column. So bucket column will be created by while editing a report. Then you can edit a bucket column, what you want to add in that bucket column, whether it is time to add, whether it is remove, whether you want to change buckets, whether you want to change a bucket in a column bucket, you can edit it. If you do not further want a bucket column, you can delete that bucket column. Then we move on to evaluate report data with formulas. Now you have to evaluate your report data with the formulas. So there are three different types of formulas: summaries, summary formulas, and row level formulas. So the type of formula you write will depend on the part on where you want to apply that particular formula. So the summaries are your mathematical functions that you can easily apply to your numeric columns or in the reports. You can apply summaries to find the different sum, to find the average, to find the minimum, to find the maximum value. So the summaries can be applied on these type of values. The summarized value evaluate the data in such a way that will show you the subtotal for each of the report group. You will also get the grand total for all the data in the report. You do not need to write a formula every time to find the math function. You can easily apply by numeric columns more action menu. Now you will apply a summary to answer the business questions. The business questions can be: what is the total value of your open opportunity? What is the average age of all the cases? Which of the accounts have the most employees and which accounts have the least employees? So all these questions are summarized question. Then you have row level formulas. The row level formulas will be applied to every record in a report, and you can easily evaluate them mathematically or logically. For example, if you use a row level formula in your opportunity report, you can easily get the created date, and you can subtract that created date from the close date to check the range, how much time it take to close the opportunity. You can also write another row level formula to check each opportunity with an emoticon. You can write a row level formula to answer business questions. You can have many different business questions. Then you have summary formulas. The summary formulas will evaluate the data in a group or in a group of groups or in a combined group. If the opportunity is grouped by type and stage, a summary function can easily apply to any of these places. Just to type, just to stage, just to the grand total of all report data. Then you you have your different functions, that previous group value and the parent group value. So these are the two different types of special summary formula. So in the special summary formula, you can compare these values and use these special formulas for a particular useful reporting. And then we are using the previous group value to compare one group to other group in the report. You are using the parent group value to compare a child group to a parent group or to a total of the report that we have got. We can write the summarized formula with the help of previous group value or the parent group value to answer different business questions. In previous group value, the question can be how much more or less business we did in February as compared to January. So this was the previous comparison, the comparison of the previous months. Then you have parent group value. In the parent group value, you can check which month. You have to find that which month you did the most business in the last year. Then you check the summarized report data. When you want to know the sum, average, highest or the lowest value of any of the numerical column, then you summarize the column. The summaries will help you to calculate the total of every group in a report, as well as your grand total for all the report data. Then you evaluate each record in reports with row level formulas. So you have to answer certain questions, and then you can easily evaluate the record when you are accessing the row level formulas. You can evaluate the groups also. You can find the totals with summary formulas. You can now compare the group with the parent group value and the previous group value. With the help of row level formulas, you can easily evaluate each record in a value. And when talking about this, we can see how many days it took to for each opportunity to close by subtracting the open date from the close date. Then you can count the unique values in the report results. When you want to add a unique value or your unique count to the column, it will avoid the duplicate values. It will only show the number of unique values that you are having in your report results. Now, while you are performing an editing in the report builder, you need to find the column for which you want to count the unique values. Then you click on the more actions icon. You will get the show unique count, and then you will click on the save. Then you have a count of unique values that will appear as the grand total of the all report result, and you will get the subtotal of each of the group also. This is the way we can show. Here we are having the reports tab. In the reports tab, I am moving down, and you can also check with the help in the left pane. We can see there are groups, so group rows, or you can also apply filters, and then columns are also there. If I am grouping with the help of rows and columns both, then I am also showing the unique count. So the unique count, we can move from different fields to different fields. So in the account name, it is showing that the unique field is 3. The count is 3. So you can move from left to right in the column for showing the unique count. Now if you want to remove the unique count, you will click on the more actions icon, and you will click on the hide unique count. Then as you are counting the unique values in the results, you have certain limitations. The report that is generated, each of the report will have only 3 unique counts. Then you have your lightning table dashboard component that will never support unique counts. Then you have fields of these data types that will also not support unique counts. So the fields of these value data types, the blobs, the clobs, encrypted fields, multi, select, pick list, the text area including long text area and rich text area. So these fields will not be supporting the unique counts. Then I am combining different types of information in a joint report. So when I'm talking about the joint report, I have 5 different blocks. So every block is either a custom block or a standard report type block. So when I'm talking about a joint report, it can include different types of 5 different types of report types. So in report types, it can be joined if we share some common fields with each other. Then when you are applying a filter join reports, you add filters to each of the blocks. If I am having 5 different blocks, so every block will have a different filter, and it will be different from each other. It will be independent from each other. Then You can also create the ultimate sales by building a report that is a joint report. You can add 3 blocks in a joint report to get the view of a workflow that you are performing. Then you are building a joint report. Then you are having the joint reports are based on the everybody must have studied the SQL, that is your structured query language that is used for the database management system. So SQL uses the outer joins. So the joins reports are always similar to the outer joins. All the rows that are respectively showed in the joint report will be having the matching data, whether all the blocks have different data or not. So they will be joined and they will make up the matching data. This are the types of reports: the joint report, new account report. So here they are showing the different cases. The account shows the account owner name as one, whether it is a customer, whether it is a partner. So it will show here the billing state is shown, the last activity is shown. Then on the right side it is shown the cases. Cases involves all the owner's name, the subject on which they are predicting certain activity, they are forming the workflow. So all these things are shown on cases block. Now when we are joining a certain report work, so how can we join a report work? So a joint report can have multiple standard or custom report types. You can add different report types to joint reports. If you have different objects and the objects are interrelated to each other, then you are creating a joint report. Because the joint report contains 5 different blocks, so you can view in a different way all these 5 types of blocks. So you can have 5 different types of information that is stored in a single report. Each block of data will be in a standard or a custom report type. Then we add a report type to the joint report. After adding a report type, you will expand the set of data available for analysis in the joint report. Then you are changing the principal report time. When you have the control how the common fields are should be named, you are performing with the help of principal report type. You can already change the time or the report time of any particular reports. Then you have summarized formulas with the joint reports. There are 2 types of custom summarized formulas that will be available with the joint reports, the standard and the cross block. Then you are working with the blocks. Blocks will provide you with a different view of the information and the joint reports. There are certain joint reports limitations and allocations. You can perform almost all the activities with the help of joint reports, such as you can add, remove, find, you can summarize the fields, you can save the reports. So there are now when you are talking about the lightning experience, you are using the joint reports with the help of with the combination of the lightning experience. Then there are certain specific limits with the lightning experience. Then we have report on historical changes. We track changes over time with historical trend reporting. We provide the historical data, we highlight the changes, we take the dates, we report the days of the changes, and then we represent the data in the form of charts and on the dashboards. Then we report on historical data while with the reporting snapshots also. So if you are taking a reporting snapshot, this will help you ease in getting the historical data. Only the authenticated users or the authorized user who have got the permission to access the tabular report or the summarized report can save these reports and generate the fields on the custom objects, and then they are mapping those fields on the corresponding fields on the on a target object. They can also use to schedule when to run the report, when to load the custom object field now, and when to combine this report, running of the report and the loading of the report objects with the reports data. So all these snapshots will help you to work with the report data similarity to work in other records in the Salesforce. Now we have report type reference. The report type you choose will always tell you that what records and what fields you want to show in your report. There are two different types of report types. One is your standard report types, another one is your custom report types. When talking about the standard report types, it will give you access to most of the Salesforce data. If I am talking about any particular opportunity, it will give you the records and the fields of all the opportunity. You will get the amount or probability and the opportunities in the field of the opportunity. Then custom report types, it will give you access to the custom objects that you created in your Salesforce, or the user's view or the customer's view or the custom view of the objects, standard objects that were already existing with your administrator permissions or the configuration they have provided you. Then we have standard report types. The Salesforce is providing a rich collection of standard report that will help you to apply your apply your requirements and get the result according to their needs. You can also use the predefined custom report types. So the custom report types you will be knowing in advance, so you don't have to create a new report with the help of pre-designed custom report types. We can also turn automatic updates to the report preview on or off to get the update automatically or to get the update manually. You can easily edit or create a report. You can update the preview automatically. You can switch on or switch off the report updates. When you are talking about the report preview, which is automatically updating, it will be updated after the edit you made every time to the report. When you have kept the report preview off, so the message will be pop up and it will tell you whether the preview shows your recent edits or it will provide you the option to refresh the preview so that you get the current value. When you are hiding any of the edits, when you are hiding recent edits, then the preview will always be in the gray color. See, here update preview automatically is turned to off. So it is showing in the gray color. All the edits are shown in the gray color. Then if you refresh it, you will get certain data that are changed now, the reports that are changed now. So if you refresh, if you are not performing the update preview automatically switch on, if it is switch off, then you have to click on the refresh button every time you want to get the current value. Here you will get the current value and the gray color is removed because you are getting the very updated value of the reports. Then you have your filter report data. In filter report data, you are filtering the reports by values. You are filtering the report when you define the filter criteria. You are using the filters for field comparison also, or for field to field filters are also applied. When talking about field to field filters, it will help you to filter a report by comparing the values of two different report fields. Then you can also add a filter logic. Filter logic will help you govern how and when the filters needs to be applied to your report. The filter across objects with cross filters. You are using a cross filter to check your results, to fine tune your results, to include only the selected things, selected records, selected objects, or the selected fields for the related objects, and eliminating the rest. You can also apply the cross filters. Then you are providing the filter report data by role of a particular customer or the organization or the person working in a particular organization. You can also see the records based on the organization structure or the job function. Then you are having the filter reports with URL parameters in Lightning Experience. You can also provide a bookmarking report. You can add a filter value to the parameters to the URL that is already provided to you to customize how the report will appear when you open that particular report. You can also apply the filter on the field history reports by comparing the old and the new values. You can filter the knowledge reports. You can filter the history reports that will help you to check the changes in the old value with the new value. Then after this, you return the information and give the information about all the categories and the subcategories that are being formed on the basis of knowledge articles. And then you are applying the filter type references. You have several different types of filters that will help you to report your data, either your standard filters, the field filters, the cross filter, the cross limit filters. So all these filters are helping you in a different way to organize your report so that you can get the appropriate list of the values you are searching in our report. Then you have your filter operator reference. The operator in a filter is used to specify the criteria that relate to each other, that refer to the list of filter operators when you are setting any filter related to the views, to reports, to dashboards, or any other customized fields. Then we have relative data date filter reference. The relative date filters will always filter on the basis of date fields, and it also supports the human speech inspired syntax. Then we have filtering on the types of fields and values. These will help you to filter on the text fields, date fields, numeric values, pick list values, and blank or null values. You can have the filtering on the multiple currencies also. The currency field, the organization uses multiple currencies. That is all for your reports. In next lecture, in the next slide, I'll be explaining you the the report generation. This is all of report. Now you will get to know about the how to generate the report. Thank you all. Thanks a lot.